Food waste is a big problem in our life because it's wet, heavy, liquidy, and smelly, and a lot of fly after that. Many people try to make compost from it, but it still have a lot of problem with fly. We have solution. We experiment with many technique, but we found that this technique is very help. Even we have big fish head like this fish bone, fish head, it can decompose fast. This technique, it doesn't need a lot of work like a normal technique. What we need is just we need compost or sawdust or cow dungs or animal dungs that is very fine and quite dry, not too wet. It can be wet and moist, but it's not too wet. That's good. Normally we just mix together very well and leave it like that for 5 or 6 days. Only 6 days the fish head, fish bone will decompose pretty good. It's not totally decomposed, but it's very crispy. It crumble. It's very easy to use after that. Even it's not decomposed 100%, but it doesn't show any real picture of fish head anymore. And it's very safe to use because it's not hard, it's not hurt us anymore, cannot hurt us anymore. But the bone from the big fish, the bone from the big animal, like a chicken bone, pork's bone, that will take long time. But seafood shell, this take only 1 week. It's very crispy. It's very crumble. It worked very well. I like this technique a lot. Normally, the way we do, we make a compost in the open air and you just dump everything on the compost. The main idea is just how to mix it very well. Don't make a pocket of food waste in one spot. If we have a pocket and cover it, and the fly will come. Because the fly always lay eggs in our garbage before we dump in the trash. That's the big problem, because when we think we make it very clean, we cover very well, but they turn to maggot and then they turn to fly later. But this technique, it doesn't matter. Even you have a lot of juice, a lot of soup, a lot of things like that, we don't need to drain it into the drainage pipe. All kind of the juice, the soup, curry, leftover, that's very important. That's very useful to make compost because it's high nutrition. We just use all of it and then mix with the compost or sawdust or cow dungs or animal dungs. Mix very well. When we mix very well like this, maggot cannot grow, cannot propagate themselves in this kind of condition. They will die. They cannot grow anymore. After we leave it like this for 5 days, all the plants will decompose completely. We can see it's only bone of the chicken or pork. The rest of it will be very nice decomposed. So I love this technique a lot because there's no fly, no dogs, no animal, nothing to disturb it. If it's too dry, we can water it. In tropical, it's good to water often to make it wet. We need more moisture to make it decompose fast. But in the cold climate, you maybe check the moisture very well. Don't make it too wet. This is a banana from leftover banana syrup. When we make banana syrup or when we make banana vinegar, we have a lot of leftover like this. If we cover like this, it will be the good place for fly to lay eggs and have a lot of maggot. But if we mix it well, there's no fly at all. It works so well. I like this technique so much. And I got a straw from a coffee shop. They said this straw is decomposable. I want to try it. It can decompose in my compost pile. I cover with compost quite thick and water a lot to see. After a month, it doesn't work. That means they lie to us. That's not real compostable straw. So we can decompose everything that's not plastic or metal easily. Whatever we have, we use all of it. And after it decomposes for 5 days, we can use that pile to make compost again. So we don't need to get cow dung or sawdust or compost all the time. We don't need to get a new compost to start it. We use the old one to start over and over and over again. This is help us to make very good quality compost, because if we mix with food waste to make compost many times, it will be very good compost. We try different technique. Like this one, we use plastic net, but this one we have problem with fly a lot. This one is work well with leaves, all kind of leaves. It work well. Even we put nets on it, we still have problem with flies, so it's not good with food waste. This technique we use concrete ring. This one costs more money and more labor. I don't like this technique much because you need to mix from outside. And then mix from outside and fill up in the tank. If we don't mix, if we make layer of fresh waste and then dry stuff on top, that will cause a lot of fly. Even we cover with net, it doesn't help. So this technique is cost more money and cost more work. I think the first technique is the best. Just compost and mix together very well. That is the best way to get rid of our food waste.